All right, well, we've got to the bloodline. And Paul Heyman was in the ring. He was reflective and somber, Paul Heyman. He was low-key. His jowls didn't even flap or wrinkle in the wind when he was talking.
Will you leave him alone for once?
He said, this is not what Roman Reigns wanted. It's the blame of Jey Uso for what happened to Jimmy. Roman didn't want all this to blow up. Roman doesn't want to fight this match. It's Jay's fault. He's to blame for what happened to Jimmy. And he fired up and he introduced the tribal combat video. And finally, we get to see some of the elders, even if it was in clips from past appearances or past comments. But Paul voiced over the video which explains or attempted to explain tribal combat, which was, they had highlights even of Peter Maivia and Rikishi and Alpha and Sika. And the rules, there's only one rule. And Brian, you're never going to guess what this rule is.
Don't be late for dinner.
Well, that was only Yokozuna's rule. The rule that exists in this match is there's got to be a winner, and that man will be tribal chief, and otherwise anything goes. So basically, anything goes, no disqualification. Don't know, it remains to be seen whether it's lazy booking.
It's tribal booking.
Tribal booking. So they go back to Paul in the ring, and he's starting to promo the match, and Jay's music interrupts, and here he comes to the ring. And he got wound up again, and he talked about all the things that he's going to do to Roman Reigns, and he's going to bring the passion and spirit of his ancestors, and he got whatted, but it works because he does the thing. I'm going to hit him with a chair. What? I'm going to hit him with a table. What? I'm going to,
Yeah.
So that works.
At this point, it's almost like they're doing it with him whenever he does it, because he's figured out how to conquer it.
Yes. Just say 4 words and put a period on it. And then jump in when they're catching their breath. But basically, Jay swore that he'd be the new champion tomorrow. That may have been far for a babyface to go. But nevertheless, when he does that, Solo's music plays, because now we got to hear from his little brother. And Solo comes to the ring. And Paul's holding him back like, don't hurt him. And Paul tells Jay that you done screwed up. And Jay tells Solo that, hey, you're my brother, and I'll always love you, but he tries to smarten Solo up to Paul. And what Paul's always doing, and he's always going to be lying to him and blah, blah, blah. And Solo starts looking at Paul suspiciously, and then Paul notices it. And he says, could I have a word with you? Off, like into the microphone, but like whispering. And then Solo won't go with him. Solo tells Paul to get out of the ring. And at that point, Jay super kicks Solo. Now, if I'd have been Jay, I might have waited to see if Solo was going to spike Paul a little longer. But they were probably running low on time. And after the super kick, Solo goes to the floor, and Jay tells Paul, tell my cousin I'll see him tomorrow, and tell my brother I'll see him later, and struts out of the ring. So our main event is Jay and Solo. How did you feel about this episode of As the Bloodline Turns?
I thought it was all right. I like this better than the match, to be honest. Heyman's so good. Jey Uso's really good. And I figure after SummerSlam, things have to change somehow. I don't know what it'll be. You got to figure Jimmy Uso's going to somehow get involved. I can't imagine he would turn on Jay at this point.
No.
Because then it would be illogical based on everything we've been through. But I also can't see Roman losing the belt right now.
No.
To Jay. But I also thought Roman was going to lose the belt at WrestleMania. I thought he should lose the belt at WrestleMania. And you know what? I'll say WWE were right. It's worked out okay.
Yeah, let me say that also. We were wrong about that at WrestleMania.
So we'll see what happens. But I feel like, SummerSlam is still one of the big 4. Maybe I'm a traditionalist. I feel like you start stuff and you end stuff. at the big events. You know, it was traditional that coming out of WrestleMania was like a fresh start in a lot of ways for programs and feuds. Something has to happen different now. It's been since WrestleMania. No Sammy, no Kevin Owens. It's all been about Roman and the Usos with Solo. Something has to happen.
And what about if Aaron Solo was to come and say, hey, you stole my Solo gimmick? See, that would be a twist.
I am the real Solo. I'm going to paint an X over my face.
Or wait a minute. Hold on here. They could get Solo Sikoa. They could get Aaron Solo. And then we had a developmental guy named Solo that was a member of the Samoan family about 20 years ago in OVW for a little while.
His name was Solo?
I think it was.
You mean Manu?
I know. I don't. He was the one that looked like the little mini Rock.
Whatever happened to Manu? That guy showed up for like on the main roster on Raw for like 3 weeks, and then we've never seen ever again.
but they could get all of them. They could say, "I am Solo. I am Solo. I am Solo." Who's the real Solo?
You know what no one expects? What if the Tonga Kid runs in?
You're right. Nobody expects that. So anyway,